Now we have David Malpass, former president of the World Bank Group, and Art Laffer, former Reagan economist. Arthur, I'm going to give you the first whack at this. The Times has decided that Trump's policies are inflationary, even though they're the same policies that didn't have any inflation when he was president in the first term for 4 entire years. You read the New York Times every day, yeah, Art Laffer, I ask you.
Oh, of course I do, Larry.
Yes, of course.
I read the French edition of it. And I love it. Just, I mean, I can't miss a page. And Paul Krugman's column is my number one.
That's right. I forgot.
It surprises me, Larry, that, you know, during Biden, with all the illegal immigration that came in, we had hyperinflation, 20% increase in prices. Now they're saying that if you get them back, if you send those people back to their homelands, if they go back to where they should be there, it's going to cause inflation. Well, I think it's just the reverse logic. In fact, if you look at it, when you talk about that, I don't know if you saw the Mankiw quote in there, Greg Mankiw's quote, but that drilling, yes, it will have a little effect on lowering oil prices, but unfortunately, no, it won't. It will have a huge effect on oil prices, and it will have a huge effect on inflation. I mean, it's exactly what we need. The other one that you said, when the tax cuts came in, you know, with Kennedy and with Reagan on the tax cuts and inflation, you miss Harding and Coolidge. Harding and Coolidge's tax cuts brought inflation way, way down. Well, I could go on and on, Larry. I'll take all of David's time, and David's got so much more important stuff to say. But, you know, the New York Times article embarrasses themselves terribly today on that thing. It's just the reverse is true. It's just like their criminal stuff. You know, they decry the crimes they commit. That is exactly what these papers are doing. You know, David, I think it's interesting. I don't know if I said it as clearly as I might in the riff. We'll take another look at it before we publish it. But the reality is, you can't have it both ways, as Art suggested. On the open border, and really I'll call them the perils or evils of an open border illegal immigration, you can't say on the one hand, closing the border kept inflation low under Trump, but opening the borders caused skyrocketing inflation under Biden. Now they're saying if you send them back, if you deport them. And by the way, Trump is talking about deporting criminals principally, okay, which has to be a good thing. I don't care what the economics are, although I think the economics are failing. You can't have it both ways.
That's right. And I think they're reaching around because the inflation problem is such a huge problem. The affordability is hitting everybody. And so they tried the transitory idea. They tried the idea that it's Trump's fault is the latest one. Shrinkflation, of course. And so on the border, you know, if you look at it and say, did anyone get a job? Yes. Did they produce something? Yes. But you have to look at it and say, what might have happened if the borders had been closed?
Right.
Everybody would be better off.
No, that's right. So, follow that line. That's an important line. And I don't mean to interrupt, but just this little point. The employment to population ratio, which the great Ed Lazier, you know, pioneered as a key labor indicator, is historically very low. I mean, the peak was years ago, about 2000. It was about 64% plus. Today, it's hovering around 60%. There's room, if government benefits don't interfere, there is room for native-born people to take those jobs.
Right,
back.
and there's really, economics is not able to predict how many of those would get jobs. What we know is that people are being crowded out of jobs that they, and the economy is not operating the same way. I think what is going on is kind of a static analysis of saying if nobody changes any behavior, this is what would happen. So we have a clear choice. Trump is saying, I want more production, more growth, and that's going to pull down inflation. And I want to do it with tax policies that make sense. Biden is proposing, and you know, I think people have missed a little bit the importance of this point, 2 major tax increases. I think they would be the biggest in history. One is to allow and cause the Trump rates to expire. So that's going to hit everybody. And he says, well, I won't hit people under 400,000. He's going to hit people across the economy, and it's going to be expensive his way. And then, in addition to that, I don't know if you saw the February budget, but he has on paper proposed concretely taxes that go into capital gains, that go into, actually, they have a proposal to be retroactive on the tax increase. They have a proposal that would hit unrealized gains. So
Right.
it's very
Wealth
close
taxes,
to a
wealth
tax.
confiscation
Clearly,
tax.
that's where they want to go, and the effect on the business community is less investment and less jobs.
I mean, Arthur, it's the old saw. You can have a temporary demand-side tax cut, a tax credit. Democrats have used tax credits to so-called fine-tune demand or consumption for decades. But all that buys you is a couple of months of spending, and you don't produce the goods to offset it, and therefore the price goes up, right? I mean, your point is if you have the same amount of apples, go through your apple. It's time for us to have an apple of your eye. Go right ahead.
You like the apple one. The key here to the taxes is tax credits aren't what you want. What you want is tax rate reductions. That's exactly what Trump did on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. You got rate reductions from down to 21% on the corporate, from I think it was 34 down to 21. You got the individual.
Well, we lost him for a second. Maybe we'll get him back. Meanwhile, I want to play this Trump sound from Las Vegas, if we can, as he lays out his plan. Here it comes.
You know, people are saying to themselves, were we better off 4 years ago or are we better off now? And it wasn't even close. We had the greatest economy in history. What we did in taxes, nobody's ever done. Even Ronald Reagan gave a big tax cut. We gave the biggest tax cut in history, the biggest regulatory cut. Nobody did what we did, and everybody was happy. And now they see this person in that he doesn't know he's alive.
He doesn't know he's alive. But the point is, he's making the case. Just if you step back, acknowledge that there was virtually no inflation during the Trump years. I think, what did I say?
7.8% per year
per
for
year.
4 years.
For 4 entire years. The level of the CPI was up less than 8% for the entire term. And under Biden, it's gone up 20%. That's a 6.1% annual rate. So if Trump repeats the policies that worked the first time, David Malpass, just in an ordinary sense, it helped working people, it held down inflation, we drilled more, why wouldn't it work a second time? That's the question that the Times doesn't have the common sense to ask.
Figure out. And it would work, and markets anticipate, so it would work more quickly than people realize. Your opening segment said Trump is playing well to the business community. Mm-hmm. I think he's also playing well to the working community.
Yes.
They know if Washington takes more money, that's going to come out of their pocket one way or the other. And so in Las Vegas, he said, I don't want to tax people's tips. He's making the
key
directional
point. Right. To working folks.
And Biden challenged that, said, climate change is an existential threat, and I'll pay no matter how much money, meaning how many solar panels do you want to put in?
All right, we're going to hit that in another segment. We're out of time. No, you'll come back as soon as you can here on set. But you're right. There's no common sense to it. That's all. And you're right. The thing about not taxing tips is going to wind up being very important. The SEIU union, if that's whatever it's called, they may hate Donald Trump, but the rank and file are going to love the guy. And he unleashed that there out in Vegas where they have a lot of service workers. We thank Art Laffer in absentia. I think his technology went down. And David Malpass, as always.